Hello, my brother. Gonna ask you the question, where are you now? And the reason for asking this is because we often get caught up in the unknown and the anxiety that comes from what is the future going to hold. Listen, we have been through 5 years of roller coasters. Technically, I should say 4 years, from the pandemic coming down, and then, of course, now for me, the war happened. After that, 2 years later, and then now in 2024, it's been a very difficult year for many people. And as we look forward, going, where are we now? Where is this going? I just got to share a few moments, a few thoughts with you on this idea to help us keep perspective. First of all, the panic and fear we get about the unknown is obviously not knowing what's coming. We don't live well with that. As men, we like to be in control. We like to hang on to a known element. We like to know that where our future is going, what we're doing is going in a certain direction. And the first thing I would add to this is, in your efforts to create something, to make something, to build yourself, to advance a new career or advance a new business, if you're putting in the work effort, I truly believe that no diligent effort towards anything goes unrewarded, that something has to come out of it. So have to have that as a little bit of faith going forward, even if it comes from a different direction than you thought. I had an example. The reason this came up is yesterday I was having somewhat of my own panic attacks. Where is this going? What is my future? What is this business? What are we going to be able to do here in Ukraine? And not knowing the war hasn't ended yet, although we're probably 3 or 4 weeks away from that happening. So in the interim, where are the opportunities? Chances are a year from now, so much is going to be resolved, so much goodness is going to come, but it's not here now. And I don't even know the direction it's going or where it's going to come from. So first of all, a little perspective is that you have to believe that everything you've done in the past has always come to a good resolution. I remember this idea of realizing that in the past, no matter what's come, highs or lows, I've always had enough. I've had enough to have technology devices like we're watching right now. I've had enough to have a roof over my head, to eat, to have clothes on my back, and to be of a sharp enough mind to better myself and look for new opportunities, and the willingness to risk, to try, to break out and do something. And those have always resulted. It's funny that in the ups and downs of life, I've always had the optimistic perspective that things seem to work out for me. And it's sort of one of my own, like we talked in the previous video on your beliefs. I've just had this belief, things work out for me. No matter what comes, it always tends to turn up in roses. So I have to believe that's true for the future. Then I look in the now, and in this moment, look at me. I'm in a great cafe. I'm enjoying myself. I've got some hookah, which is it's a great thing I like to do while I work. And I've got a great apartment I'm living in the center of the city, and I'm meeting new friends. And so, but in the middle of yesterday, I was having my own panic. Where is this all going? And out of the blue, I get a call from one of the business guys I met. And he says, "Hey, come hang out with us tonight." And we ended up having the greatest time, hang out with several of the guys who are part of the, I don't know if you call them committees, but they're certainly involved in the Rebuild Ukraine program. They've got invitations to come to Washington, D.C. in April. And they were just full of life. And so, of course, I radiate that energy back. And we just had such a wonderful time. And I went home last night, laid down in bed, and realized that everything is going to work out okay. It always has in the past. And the work and effort I'm doing, putting in, meeting the right people, will pay out one way or another. And I don't know which way it is right now. And that's okay. So I have to believe that if I've always had enough in the past, I have enough right now, that I'm always going to have enough. So the most important thing when you're feeling anxiety about where am I now, where is this going, is to first get yourself in a place of calm and getting out of the emotional stress that cripples your body, cripples your creativity when you have those feelings of panic and the unknown. So perspective is helpful, first of all. You've always been okay. You've always had enough. You have enough now, and you will always have enough. Okay. Second, that the work you put out will, at some point, somewhere, produce results. So just keep moving forward, keep learning, keep making new contacts, because you never know which meeting, which connection, which thing you're doing will end up being the one that works. But if you stop, you'll never have those meetings. But how many times have you had in the past where the connection you needed, the resource, the opportunity came from a place you wouldn't have expected, but you also would never have had it if you didn't just keep showing up and meeting new people and going to those new places. So just keep going because you never know which one it is. It's funny, I'm here in Ukraine. One of the philosophies the women have here, because if you've noted the story, women here dress great all the time. And they have a belief in that because they believe that, they never know that the next time they're on the street, if they're on a bus or they're at work, when they can meet their future husband, they can meet their future boss. And so they never want to miss that opportunity. And so if you have that perspective, it's like, I keep going, I keep showing up because you never know where it's going to come from. Also creates an internal expectation, but it will come from somewhere. And that only happens by continuing to show up and being in forward movement. The second part of this was having to do with getting yourself in a good state. And so one of mine is this place here, which has become my new office. I always know when I leave here, and I've got one other place, I call these my happy places. I know if I spend some time there, by the time I'm done, I'm calmed, I'm restored, I come away with a sense of bliss. So have your happy places, whatever that is for you. It could be walking in a park you love close by or by a river. It could be a cafe you love to go to. It could be calling up a friend to hang out. And during that time, you always know you'll feel better at the end of it. Have a whole good list of 4 or 5 things that you'll call your happy places, where when you start to get stressed in another place, you've got to break out of the cascading effect of downward thoughts that tend to happen like an escalator pulling you down. You have to step up faster than them. But getting into a new environment is just a great solution to begin with. So when you feel yourself getting down, get into a new environment, break yourself out of it. And the final thing I want to add in this video here is the aspect of when I ask the question, where are you now? I mean, literally, if you've read Eckhart Tolle's book, The Power of Now, he really makes the entire point that the past is simply your representation, the meaning you gave it that's in the memory cells of your brain. That's the only place it exists. The present is the place of power. The future is also simply represented in your mind, in your gray cells of your brain, and what you're anticipating and the meaning you're giving to a future. So where is the power? The power to act, the power to think, the power to do, the power to be present is in the present, is in the now. And the power of the now means that getting out of the spiral thinking about the past, regrets, whatever that may be, the spiral thinking of anticipating worst case scenarios for the future, those are illusory and in creation of our imagination. I've always said this, one of my quotes, it appeared in a meme somewhere, is that fear is a misuse of your imagination. Can't you use the same power of your imagination to imagine a successful outcome, that there's going to be a resolution, that whatever comes, you're enough for it, you have the ability to find the answers, ask the right people, work through it, and get to the other side. You always have in the past. You have that belief in yourself. But all of that, the planning for the future, the vision casting, the emotions you give it, come and rest in the now. The power is in the now. The connection to divine, if you want to talk about that, about in being connected to source, finding deeper meaning, that's also in the now. You can't have a spiritual connection to God in the past. You're here. You can't have a spiritual connection in the future. It happens right now. And so all the connection for what you need, wisdom, peace, calm, creativity, happens right in this moment, in wherever you are. It's in the now, the presence. So where are you now? Where are you now? And can you take this moment, wherever you are, and empower it with presence? One of the great ways to do that is just to stop for a moment and simply look around you. I look around me and I see the amazing historic buildings around me through the glass. I see the plants they have hanging from the tree, from the top as sort of their decorations. I look around and I see the other people, a couple in front of me snuggling with each other on the couch, another one talking over here, having some coffee. I feel health in my body. I'm talking to you, my brother, having good fellowship with you. In this moment, I'm able to share and give from my soul. This moment is powerful, and it's the only one we have. Whether you're planning for your future, whether you're thinking about what you're doing next, those can also be enjoyed in the now. The power of now is where we live. It's the quality of our life. And I have I go through my life when I have too much quiet, which is a problem. I'm looking forward to getting busy, really busy again. When I've had too much downtime, you tend to spiral into regrets. And, oh, if I'd only done that. And trust me, I've gone all the way back to 18 years old. If I'd only done this, and then 20 years old, had an opportunity come, and I didn't see the value in it, and how that would have changed the entire trajectory of my life, different career path I might have selected. When a relationship failed, look at what I could have done to change all those things, and I go step by step through everything in my life, how I could have prevented the loss in '08, as if any of us could have or understood what was coming. And it's not helpful because in the now, I can also look and say, you know what? I have bounced back 4 times and created 7-figure businesses. I've traveled. I've valued friendships. I've enjoyed time, shared adventures with people. And I've lived so many great things in my life, that I'm grateful for. And to be present in the power now requires a calmness, requires awareness of what's around you. Sometimes it's sort of a meditative practice to really just be still and let the energy of what's here come to you and feed you. And ultimately, you and I are right here in this moment. Where you're watching right now or listening is this moment we have together. And it adds value to your life, your investment in yourself, your investment, your friendship with me. And what we do together is, as brothers, sharing this adventure ride in life. So where are you now? The most important thing to know is that now is the power moment, place of calm, creativity, resilience. And with that, every moment going forward in the now becomes more alive. You can only feel alive if you're aware that you're alive. You are where you are and in a good place. And I love what the guy who always said this. He goes, imagine that, if it might have been Jim Rohn, imagine that wherever you are and everything around you is exactly the way it's supposed to be. I know my good friend Dr. Robert Glover is really now in his late 60s come to the belief that everything is of destiny, even when it feels inconvenient or uncomfortable. Everything is exactly the way it's supposed to be for some reason. And obviously there are changes you would have made, decisions you would have made differently, I would have made in our lives. We can all look at that. But to own this moment, to be present, to be here and say, I'm here, I own this, I'm going to love it, I'm going to find peace in it, I'm going to enjoy the beauty of whatever this moment brings, and just plan a life of beautiful moments wherever I am. I bring myself, I bring my power, and as Eckhart Tolle would say in the name of his book, and there's the power of now. So where are you now? You're good. You are good. And I'm with you. Have a fantastic day. I look forward to talking to you the next time. Bye.